Make the ground shake.
Welcome guys and girls to another Division build video. I'm gonna try and keep this video as short as possible, as it was just a requested build. So within the Division community, I have a couple of people asking me, do I have trouble with 6-piece Predators? I'd say sometimes if a full team are running Predator, it's really hard to counter and it can be annoying. And also people ask me, you know, what builds do I use or what builds do I recommend? Well, the builds that I'd recommend, I'd say 6-piece defense is pretty decent against Predator because you're an absolute tank. That's all is to it. You're a tank. You've got your 6-piece striker, your 9k stamina, which is good against Predator, but only when you've got your stacks up. And then also you've got your 6-piece final measure, which is obviously the best against Predator because you have, I think it's 83% exotic damage resilience, which is the most you can get in the game. Quote me if I'm wrong. But then I also show people this build. This is what I run to counter 6-piece Pred. I run the 2 Banshee classified, 2 Predator classified, a final measure classified, which is obviously for the exotic damage resilience, and then tie it all together with a ninja backpack. So for me, weapons, I'm just using the house, same one which I've been using for quite some time, swift and deadly. The talents, same as always, crit damage on the scope, crit chance on the mag, crit damage on the grip, and also on the vent break crit damage. As my secondary, I like to use the M4 with unforgiving, deadly and responsive. Not the best damage, but it's just a backup weapon. I have crit chance on the scope, crit damage on the magazine, crit damage on the grip, and on the suppressor crit damage also. Now over to the pieces. On the Banshee chest, I've got the normal standard health roll on firearms. Then I've got the exotic damage resilience, so this is the first piece in which I'm stacking exotic damage. And on the mods, I have 2 stamina mods with 2.5% exotic damage resilience. On the mask, I have it on firearms, and I also have that on exotic damage resilience. And the same mods throughout the build: stamina, exotic damage resilience. Now, knee pads, more exotic damage resilience, 8% rolled on firearms. Same mods, and a first aid self heal. The backpack I have rolled onto stamina just to give me extra toughness, and I also have a health roll on the backpack with ammo capacity. The final measure gloves are firearms with SMG damage, crit chance and crit damage, but as you can see, this build is far from optimized because I'm losing 3% crit damage so far on the gloves. And then finally onto the holster. I've actually rolled crit chance on the holster just because for this build you know you need as much damage as possible. Health, it's not viable enough for me to have health on the holster. Now onto the stat sheets. On the house, it's 42% crit chance, 110% crit damage, and sorry about that. Onto the M4, it's 20.5% crit chance and just under 100% crit damage. And if I go down to survivability, I've got 300k health, and there's the big one, 67% exotic damage resilience, which is the most I can get when I put this build together. So the abilities, I'm running booster shot just to give me increased damage, and I'm running the immunizer, which is going to be my main healing source. The talents I've got on the move, which recently I'm running quite a lot. Precision, I wouldn't go without it, gives me a pulse surveyor to headshot. Another one, critical save, it's on every single build. And then I've got strike back on this build as well, which gives me 20% cooldowns when I reach low health. Well, reduced by 20%, sorry. So yeah, that's pretty much the build which I'm using to counter Predator 6-piece. It's a very situational build. It's not a build that I'd just pick up and go into the DZ with. It's just a nice build to keep within your loadouts. If I'm in the DZ and there's a team of 4 Predators, manhunt, and I can't kill them, then this is the perfect build, and I don't think they'll give you any problems. I'll try a grenade. So yeah, as you can see, grenades do hardly any damage at all. You could be, a lot of people grenade spamming lately, so you could just eat them grenades and just power through them like a beast. So what I'm going to show you next is I've got a short clip of a friend of mine who I will put his build up. He's got a close to optimized 6-piece Predator, and I'll show you what kind of damage the Predator does to this build, what sort of bleed crits he hits for. So yeah, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this insight on a bit of a hybrid DPS counter pred build. As you can see from the clip, I could easily survive the bleed from the 6-piece Predator pretty comfortably, I'd say. And my friend told me that the crits were roughly 16k to the body and 26k to the head, so not a lot of damage at all. Give you a lot of survivability, and with the 2 Banshee and the 2 Predator, it'll definitely give you enough DPS to burst down those Predator players. So, like I say, thanks a lot for your support and for watching the video and taking the time to subscribe, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.